Let's talk.
Can we talk?
I need to talk.
Let's talk sexual violence.
Let's talk relationship violence.
Let's talk consent.
Let's talk healthy relationships.
Let's talk bystander intervention.
Let's talk confidentiality.
Let's talk resources.
Let's talk options.
Let's talk sexual violence.
There's a problem on college campuses across the country, and that problem is sexual violence.
It's happening to our sisters, brothers, roommates, and friends.
And it has to stop.
We have to stop it.
If a person doesn't consent or can't consent,
It's rape.
it's assault.
It's a crime.
You are all now part of our community at SDSU.
And we all have a responsibility for keeping each other safe and supporting each other in times of crisis.
San Diego State University does not discriminate on the basis of gender, which includes sex and gender identity or expression, or sexual orientation in its education programs or activities.
Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972 and certain other federal and state laws prohibit discrimination on the basis of gender or sexual orientation in employment, as well as in all educational programs and activities operated by the university, both on and off campus.
The protection against discrimination on the basis of gender or sexual orientation includes sexual harassment, sexual misconduct, and gender-based dating and domestic violence and stalking.
Sexual violence is any physical sexual acts such as unwelcome sexual touching, sexual assault, sexual battery,
Rape, domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking perpetrated against an individual against his or her will and without consent.
Everyone, male, female,
Those who identify as transgender and those who do not identify with a gender
Can experience a sexual assault.
Sexual violence is a violation of SDSU policy, and it's a crime.
violations can result in discipline, including suspension or expulsion, and criminal prosecution.
Let's talk relationship violence.
Domestic violence is abuse committed against someone who is a current or former spouse, current or former cohabitant, someone with whom the abuser has a child, someone with whom the abuser has or had a dating or engagement relationship.
Dating violence is abuse committed by a person who is or has been in a social or dating relationship of a romantic or intimate nature,
Including someone you just met.
Stalking is a repeated course of conduct directed at a specific person when based on gender or sex that places that person in reasonable fear for his, her, or other safety, or to suffer substantial emotional distress.
There are some specific examples of relationship violence you should be aware of.
Monitoring where you are going, who is going, and what you are doing.
Repeatedly saying or doing things to make you feel inadequate or inferior.
extreme jealousy or insecurity,
isolating you from family and friends,
Explosive temper.
Telling you what to do.
physically hurting the partner in any way.
If you or a friend is the victim of relationship violence, there are resources both on and off campus to help.
Let's talk consent.
Consent means an informed, affirmative, conscious decision
By each participant to engage in mutually agreed upon sexual activity.
Consent must be voluntary.
It must be affirmative.
It can be withdrawn or revoked at any time.
Consent can't be given by someone who is incapacitated by alcohol, drugs, or a disability.
Consent is about respect, communication, listening.
Consent means you have control and ownership over your body.
No one has the right to control your body.
It doesn't matter what you wear or whether you've been drinking.
Not where you are or what time it is.
Just because you give consent to one thing
Doesn't mean that the other person can do anything they want to your body.
Communicating is the key to ensuring that everyone is safe and feels respected.
How do you know you have consent?
Sometimes it's verbal, sometimes it's physical.
If you're not sure, ask. Check in. Listen.
consent is mutual communication.
If the consent isn't mutual, or your partner can't communicate because they are passed out, asleep, intoxicated, or high, then that's not consent.
If you don't have consent, that's rape, and that's sexual assault.
Let's talk healthy relationships.
A healthy relationship exists when all participants have and display mutual respect for one another, and there is mutual benefit experienced by all those involved in the relationship.
A healthy relationship involves choosing a partner or partners that's the right fit for you at that time in your life.
It all starts with knowing yourself.
You should know your needs, desires, values, and boundaries.
In order to choose a relationship that will be the healthiest fit for you.
Knowing these things about your relationship is also important in helping you decide if the relationship is the right choice for you at the time.
Healthy relationships include good communication.
Mutual trust exists between partners.
Partners share common interests.
Both partners are able to perceive things differently
without requiring each other to see things the other's way.
Each partner is able to grow independently and support the other partner's growth, meaning the relationship is able to grow.
Both have activities and friends outside the relationship.
Both partners accept each other and do not try to change one another.
The relationship adds joy to your life.
Healthy relationships mean being able to understand and set your own boundaries,
and having the power and agency to speak up or leave when those boundaries are being violated.